Pressure is a privilege. Most people don't understand this and are often overcome with the responsibilities that they have in life. But most of the time, if you actually find yourself someone who is under a lot of pressure and has to deal with a lot of things all the time, then you'll probably start to resent it, probably hate it, and not like that feel like you have to do everything. You feel like you have to do everything yourself. You feel like you have so much to do, all this work to do. But it actually is what you wanted. So let me explain. So, for example, someone who feels like they have to do everything for everybody, and they feel like everyone's always leaning on them, they feel like everyone is just sort of walking over them. I'm not talking about being a carpet. I'm talking about someone who has a lot of pressure, a lot of responsibilities in life. You actually should be more grateful, because the more responsibilities that you have and the more that you have to do, the greater you're going to become. No one becomes great without having to do a lot of things. You could look at it as in, most people see having a lot of responsibility and a lot of things to do as a bad thing. They don't like it. They kind of wish someone else would take the reins. But what they actually don't realize is that by them sort of holding all the power and holding all the cards, that is going to make them greater. You see, diamonds are formed under pressure. Most people who go through hard things and trouble often end up the ones that get the most character development out of it. They get the most rewards, they get the most returns, and in the end, they're the ones who did the most. Think about Michael Jordan, think about LeBron James, any big superstar that had to do a lot of things. They had to go through a lot of pressure to get where they are, to climb to the top. And at the top of a mountain, that is when the air pressure is the lightest, and it's most hardest to breathe. What I'm saying in my analogy is basically that it is hard to be at the top. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Like, it's very hard to be at the top, but you realize pressure is a privilege. You should feel privileged that you have the pressure thrust upon you so that you're the one to deal with it. You realize the hero is the one who overcomes the great evil. The citizens, the normal people, the NPCs, they're people who have never had to deal with anything in their lives. They've never had to overcome anything. They've never do anything hard, or they don't have the responsibilities riding on them. It's the greatest of us that have to do the hardest things. The greatest people have to achieve and overcome the greatest obstacles in order to become actually great. That's what makes them great in the first place. And the reason I'm talking about this is because recently I feel like that I have done a lot. I feel like I've done so much, and I don't really get a lot of recognition for the things I've done. It feels like sometimes I'm the one who cares, and I'm the one doing the most to sort of hold things together just in life. And not everyone else really cares. Not everyone else has that sort of drive, that passion. And then I kind of realized that, in a way, if you want to be great, like I asked myself, I said, John, if you want to be great, that doesn't mean you're going to have to do great things. Like, imagine when you die, people will say, oh, you did everything. You went the furthest miles. You went the distance. You did all of the difficult things. You achieved, you overcame odds. And so that's when I started to realize that it actually is a privilege to have pressure. Excuse me. Pressure is a privilege. That going through hard things and difficult things, and especially having a lot of responsibilities, is part of growing up. And it's part of realizing that if you want to be great, you have to do something great. And nothing great is ever easy. The road, like, even if you have like parents to pay for things for you, even if you're like a believer in nepotism or things like that, the Nepo babies are never as great as the parents. Like, look at Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great is far better than his father, despite him actually inheriting the wealth from his father, because he took what his father gave him and said, this is not enough. I actually want to do more. And so he went and made it his own. He went and did things that were unique to just him. And so if you are a Nepo child, or like if you have things done for you, you can actually still be great, because the thing is, what your parents did for you is seen as great for them, but what you do for the world will be seen as great for you. So I want you to keep this in mind, that if you feel like you're under a lot of pressure and you feel like it's getting hard and heavy, that is when it is good. Because if you have any inkling or dream of being great or amazing in life, this is when it comes. It is only when you are afraid that you can actually be brave. In the same way, you can only be great if you overcome certain obstacles and you hold all the cards. The CEO of the businessman holds all the cards. He holds all the responsibility. He holds all of the benefits, most of the benefits, but then he also holds all of the risk. And so that is what makes him great. That's what makes your position so great, is because You basically focus on everything. So I want you to keep this in mind. And we're going forward in life. When the pressure starts to get heavy, don't let up. Keep going, because this is what you wanted. You wanted to be great, and diamonds are formed under pressure. So be great.